We've all been there. It's Sunday, we had a wonderful time with friends and family, and then it's like Sunday afternoon and the evening rolls around. We realize tomorrow is Monday and we start to get the pit in our stomach. You can call it the Sunday scaries, the Sunday jitters, the Sunday blues, or your weekly existential what am I doing with my life crisis. In this episode, I'm gonna talk about this 15-minute exercise that you can do to escape the Sunday jitters. Intro. What's up, everybody? I'm TK. Welcome to a very special Unstoppable Sunday. Today's Unstoppable Sunday is super special because I'm gonna talk to you about how to practice Unstoppable Sunday. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years of my life. It's unlocked an unparalleled amounts of productivity and success for me, and that's why we're running this movement to teach more people to do this. The practice is super simple. We sit down and we answer two questions. Number one, where am I? And number two, what do I do next? In this episode, I'm gonna explain how this came to be, how I practice it, and how you can spend 15 minutes of your Sunday to escape the Sunday jitters and go into the week and kick ass. So this all started about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago, I made a choice. I made a decision that I'm no longer gonna just react to the week. I'm no longer gonna just accept my current reality. I'm gonna make the changes that I want in my life so that I can go and accomplish the things that I wanna go accomplish. And it all came down to this idea of living a more proactive life. Living a proactive life to me meant that I would take control over the next 7 days and get a lot more proactive about it and control it instead of just letting it happen to me and let others schedule things for me. It also meant that I would look ahead for the entire year and set goals for myself and allocate the time so I can go accomplish those goals. And it also meant that I would create a vision for myself for the next 5 years and say, here's where I want to be 5 years from now. And little by little, even though I had constraints in my reality, I had responsibilities, I had limitations, I would slowly shift those around in a proactive way and get to that vision of myself. Now, it's easier said than done. First of all, it's said that only about 2% of the population is willing to be ambitious and make massive changes in their own lives. So it takes a whole lot of inertia to actually make the changes you want, even though you want to make the changes in your life. Secondly, to actually take a long view, to actually get proactive, to actually say, no, I'm gonna run things right now is super hard because there are so many distractions in the way. There's so many demands coming at us, and there's so many people willing to just tell us what to do and how to do it. Even for me, 10 years ago, when I wanted to make those massive changes in my life, I couldn't just do it right away. I had to figure out, like, all right, I'm here are my limitations, here are the constraints, here's where I wanna be. Little by little, how do I make those changes? And when I started to think about it that way, instead of this big bang, I'm just gonna change everything type of thing, and instead thinking about it in terms of, all right, little by little, how do I make a change? How do I stop freaking out about the week? How do I stop counting down to the weekends? That's when I started to develop this idea of an Unstoppable Sunday, where I started to sit down every Sunday and just spend 15 minutes to figure out, all right, what am I gonna do this week? Once I started practicing Unstoppable Sundays, now I didn't call it Unstoppable Sundays 10 years ago, but the practice was the same. Once I started doing this, it opened up nearly 10 years of productivity and success for me. Once I started practicing Unstoppable Sunday, it got rid of that pit in my stomach every Sunday. And it stopped me from just reacting to the week, the entire week, and just trying to count down for Friday to roll out so I can have that weekend again, so I can go into that Sunday again and start to freak out again. Most importantly, it allowed me to get control of my life 1 week at a time. And as I did that, 1 week after another week, and then after another week, I started to practice that thing on Sunday every week. Little by little, I was able to start to change the trajectory of my life to get it to where I wanted it to be. So here's how it works. The basic premise of it is you want to just answer these two questions. Number one, where am I? Oh, that's upside down. And number two, what do I do next? The way I do it is I keep a Google Doc. So this is a template that we created. Basically, I have a Google Doc that says pause and reflect Sundays. And in these Positive Effect Sundays, I just write a new date every Sunday that when I actually wanna write into it. And I just write out the question of where am I and what do I do next? And I start to write into it. So the difference here is that instead of just sitting there on the couch or trying to be with family and feeling that pit in your stomach and playing out all these scenarios in your head about things you're worried about, things that are bothering you, things that you no longer enjoy about your job, just letting it play out all in your head and trying to internalize it and just telling yourself it's okay, that's where that angst comes from. And that's when on Monday you're like driving into work and you're like, I don't know, let's just jump in, hope for the best. That never works. So that's why I started to do this practice of just saying, all right, let's just first write down where am I? Let's just write down all the things that are going through my head or in my subconscious, just put it down on paper, put it into a Google Doc, whatever works for you, just so I'm not just having it run through my head, it's written down somewhere so I can go stare at it. The second thing I did, and I'll talk about this more in just a second, is I started to then say, all right, what do I do next? Given all these things, what is like the 4 or 5 things that I should definitely do this week in a proactive way? Forget my calendar, forget my tasks, forget my duties, but like if I were to have it my way, what do I need to do because of all these things that I'm thinking and feeling and facing in my life right now? Just the process of sitting down and spending 15 minutes. You could do 30 minutes, you could do an hour. All I'm asking for is 15 minutes minimum. Just the process of sitting down and getting it all into a document or getting it all on paper gets rid of that angst. It's instant medicine. It's one of those things where instead of you seething at it, you just put it on paper, it's cathartic, and you're like, all right, that's what it is. Those are all the things that are going through my head. And you can just walk away from that. Even just writing it down is half the relief. And just by sitting down for those 15 minutes, it really allowed me to process what's going on in my life instead of just playing it in a really shitty movie in my head that I carry with me into the night and then go into it with Monday. And then most importantly, just by answering what's next, by saying, all right, now that I acknowledge all these things that are going on, what do I do? And even making a 3 or 4 point bullet list of, all right, here's how I want to attack this week, and maybe here's how I want to deprioritize certain things. Those 2 simple things, just doing that for 15 minutes, unlocked an entire decade of productivity for me. Now, let me show you this. So this document I've had since 2015. Now I've gone through multiple documents before. This is the one I've been keeping since 2015. I've been writing in this thing nearly every Sunday, and they've gotten even more consistent over the years. So you can see 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015. I've been writing this and practicing Unstoppable Sunday for nearly 10 years. And most importantly, I've been writing it all down in this one document as I've formalized it over the years. And it's amounted to nearly 238 pages of action plans and processing my Sundays so I can go into every week in a much more proactive way. Now, if you're interested in practicing Unstoppable Sunday, if you're interested in getting more proactive in your life, we've made it super easy for you. So first of all, we've created a template for you that you can download. But it goes bigger than that. Like all I'm asking for is just 15 minutes for starters, but there's more that you can do to live a full proactive life. Let me show you the template first. The template is super straightforward. It's a Google Doc. You can also download it as a Word document. It's completely up to you. And when you go into it, it's already set up for you so it has the cues. So you just create a new section for each Sunday where you're actually thinking about what's bothering you and what you want to do next. And it has the prompts that you can go in and answer. Now, you don't have to do all of these. You can do all of these. You can do some of these. The point is it doesn't matter. What matters is you spend 15 minutes writing down what's in your head and what's bothering you, and then writing down, here's what I'm gonna go do about it. If you can just do that bare minimum, that alone will put you in a better position to be more proactive in your life in the coming week. The things that we prompt you to think about is, what are you feeling? Are you feeling angst? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling frustrated? Just write it down. What's bothering you? The second thing we say is, what are the things that are bothering you? There's always things that are bothering you about the upcoming work week, about things you gotta deal with family, with work, maybe your career. Just write it down. Just write it down. The third thing we say is, what were your successes for the past week? Big or small? So by the time Sunday rolls around, we already forgot last week. We forgot the good that we did. We forgot the things that we accomplished. We forgot the things that we were looking forward to. We already moved on to the next thing to worry about. Take 2 minutes and just write down the good things that happened in the past week. You'd be surprised how many good things happened in the past week. Just write it down. Say, I was really happy I got a team dinner, or we crushed the quarter, or we closed out the month and I'm really proud of the people I work with. Just write it down. It'll feel much better. And then you say, as you look ahead in the next 7 days, now this is where I like to open up my calendar and I look at like, all right, what meetings do I have? What projects do I have going on? And I say, all right, what are the things that I'm actually excited about? What are the things that are like, that's coming up in this week? Like, man, I'm pumped about it. This is gonna be a huge game changer for my team. And then we answer, what are the things you're behind on? This is where the angst really comes in on a Sunday, truthfully. Either you've got angst about your overall situation, or you've got angst about specific things that you're behind on. So just write it out. Just say, here are the 5 things that I'm just behind on. Or here's the one big project I'm just worried about. Or here's the person at work that's really bothering me. Make a list. Where are you right now? Instead of just playing it in your head, letting it seed inside of you, getting the pit in your stomach, trying to escape from it with Netflix, just write it down. And then we get into what's next. So let me be very clear here. This is not an exercise of just complaining and then going to go watch Netflix. This is an exercise of becoming more proactive in your life, which means that once you've identified where you are right now, and you look at what's coming up in the coming 7 days, what's next is your action plan. What's next is a bullet-pointed list or a set of paragraphs or a strategy. I don't care what you call it. I don't care how you write it down. I don't care if you record yourself doing it or you put it in the document or you put it on your notebook. I don't care, but it's your action plan. You're gonna force yourself in that 15 minutes you dedicated on this Sunday to practice Unstoppable Sunday, and you figured out where you are. You're gonna force yourself to say, all right, here are the things I'm gonna do. Here's the big problem I've got and what I can do to solve it. And here are the things that are probably not important that I should deprioritize in this coming week. And we prompt you for those in this template right over here. So in 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much time you want to spend on it, bare minimum 15, if you just do that every Sunday, you just say, where am I and what is my action plan for the week? Just think about what that could do for you in your career, in your life, for your family, for your goals. Think of what you can accomplish if you just get that much more proactive. And I'm talking 15 minutes. I'm talking just about the coming week. I'm not saying about changing your career. I'm not saying drastic changes in your friends or your family. All I'm saying is get the next 7 days locked down. And that's when you see me yelling about Unstoppable Sunday, that's what I'm doing. When you see me saying, where am I and what do I do next? That's what I'm doing. And that's what nearly 2,000 people that have downloaded our life planning guide are doing. Look, our mission here is to help 1,000 people this year live a more proactive life. That's our mission. If we can get 1,000 people like you to just spend 15 minutes answering where am I and what do I do next and getting more proactive about the next 7 days, that's a win for us. That means that those 1,000 people are gonna go accomplish things that they really care about. That means that 1,000 people can go impact 100,000 people, and that 100,000 people can impact 1,000,000 people. If we can actually pull that off, we're gonna tilt the axis of planet Earth. We're really gonna change things up. And that's what I'm excited about. So if you're into that, if you wanna learn more about how all this works, you want this Unstoppable Sunday template, there's a link below. Download our proactive life planning guide. In that Unstoppable Life Planning Guide, we teach you how you can get a hold of the next 7 days with Unstoppable Sunday. And then when you're ready for it, once you have a few weeks of doing that, how you get the next year under your control, and then how you think about the next 5 years. This is a system that I followed myself. This is a system I've developed with taking pieces from different books, taking things that have worked for my friends, and it's worked for me over the last 10 years. And I want it to work for you like it's worked for me. So if you're into that, if you want to get more proactive about your life, follow the link below, download our Unstoppable Life Planning Guide. It helps you become more proactive in your life. And more importantly, our mission is to impact 1,000 people. So if you're into this, please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, it spreads. More people find out about our mission. More people can get more proactive about their lives, which is a good thing. And we do an episode every Sunday. That's what this Unstoppable Sunday is all about. We do it every Sunday where I do an episode about living a more proactive life, giving you different strategies, different tips. This episode happens to be about how to actually practice Unstoppable Sunday to go along with the book. But we do all kinds of episodes, and you can check more of those out at getunstoppable.com. If you're into that, hit the subscribe button so that you get notified right away when we publish an episode every Sunday. This simple practice, just spending 15 minutes doing this every Sunday, has made me feel better about every week. Just bare minimum. It's just made me feel better about Monday. People comment all the time because on a Monday or on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday, I'm not counting down to the weekend. I'm going into work and I'm saying, all right, what are we gonna do today? Let's go get this. And I get that because I spent 15 minutes on that Sunday to really think about what's important to me. Where am I going? How do I make the most out of this week? And how do I turn this week into a win so that little by little, even if I don't like my current circumstances, I can slowly shift my life to the reality that I want over the course of a year and 5 years. So if you're into this, download our guide, create a proactive life plan for yourself, start practicing Unstoppable Sundays, do all the things. We teach you all about it. Just download the guide. I'll show you all of it. And remember, everyone needs a strategy for their lives. Yours needs to be unstoppable. I'm TK. See you next Sunday.